Alright, so today's job, what we're doing, well I'll tell you what I'll be doing later on today. I'll be giving that thing a wash because it's bloody filthy. I like to keep that thing nice and clean and it's terrible at the minute. But today we'll be doing some work on the old girl. Not so much work on the car itself, but I'll show you what we've got. I've actually had this a while and just haven't had time to get around to do anything with it. We got the Road Chef 12-volt oven. I'm not fixing it into the car. I will be using it on the drop down table. However, I have got a flush mount Anderson plug, and today's job is to pop that in there. So take the bed out, access the battery down there, and we'll get this all wired in. See how it goes. Alright, so now the bed's out. I think we can leave this on from memory. We just need to pull the side covers out, access the battery, get some wiring made, cut the hole for the plug, etc, etc. Alright, so the cover's off to access the battery. This is the panel we need to get out. Now it's actually held in with some hex bolts, Allen key bolts down there. So unfortunately we're going to have to take the drawer out to access that, to get that out. Not a massive job. From memory on these, you just got to unbolt the two little stoppers. However, I think so that the stoppers don't get lost down the back, we do also have to take the lid off, which is quite a few screws all the way around, so I won't film that. I'll get that off. In fact, with that off I might be able to do it with the drawer in, so we'll get that off and then we'll see how we go. So I just started pulling the top of the drawer off, and I just thought, I've never actually shown anyone the bed set up in here, so I thought I'd just give you a little look at this. So obviously we've got the fridge in there, 75 litre fridge freezer. It takes up a fair bit of space, which doesn't leave a massive amount of space for a bed. I mean, luckily I'm pretty tiny, 5'6", so any tall people might struggle. But what I've done, so this is a platform for the bed, and you probably might not have noticed the mattress when I took it out, but the mattress is actually wider at the top end. So obviously feet down there. And then I've got all this extra space at the top here. That's just cut out to suit the door. And what happens is when I'm sleeping, I just tilt the seat forward because that's hard up against there now. Yeah, and lengthwise it's more than adequate for me. And then widthwise, it's not quite 2/3 of the whole width of the car, but it's definitely a fair bit more than half. If you look how I've cut it around the center console fridge as well. Everything fits very neatly. It's just on stilts. Got a frame built with stilts on it, and obviously underneath is handy for storage. It's where I keep all my cooking gear. I got the DC charger in there, and if I need to take this out, it's literally a 2-minute job, because the wooden bracket is hard bolted to the drawers, but the bed itself is basically, I think there's 5 or 6 self-tapping screws in there. Take them out, bed out, and 5 minutes to pop the seat back in. Not that I ever need to get the seats back in this because I got the NX Pajero, but yeah, that's the bed setup. Alright, so I've got this panel out, good access to the battery as well now, so we'll cut the hole for that, we'll get the plug mounted, and then we'll just sort some wiring out. I got a box full of wiring, so hopefully I've got something that is pre-crimped with the terminals on, make my life a lot easier. So 30 years of being a mechanic. I won't say I'm a hoarder, but I keep stuff that'll probably come in handy. This is my box of goodies, just like random heaps of wire, Anderson plugs, multi-plugs, switches, more switches. Just keep stuff that might come in handy. Oh, some headlight globes, I don't know what they're doing there. Logitech speaker. Yeah, so today's the day we'll find ourselves some wiring, some Anderson plug wiring that's hopefully already got the connectors on each end that we want, and we'll make something work from it. Alright, so I just pulled the carpet back on that panel, roughly marked out where it's going to go, drilled the 4 corners very inaccurately. I'm just going to finish it off with an angle grinder on the lines. I won't bother filming that, I'll do that and then we'll come back to it. Alright, so I've cut the hole, marked and drilled where the screw holes are going to go. It's a bit rough, don't judge, it's all going to be covered up. So that will go in there. So all we need to do now is cut the carpet, glue that back down, fasten that up, attach the plug to it and then wire it up. So I cut the carpet to suit the hole, just using an incredibly sharp razor blade. Be careful with that stuff because they are very sharp. Just spread some contact adhesive on there and that should be dry now, so I'll stick that back on and we'll get the plug mounted. Alright, so the plug's fitted. I forgot it came with this cool little cover. Keep it all neat out of the way. So just going to wire it in now. Now the oven comes with a built-in fuse. However, if I end up using this to power anything else up that's not fused, that will be a bad idea. So I found in my stuff a big bus bar fuse. It's probably way too big for what I need, but any fuse will offer some protection. I might see if I've got something smaller and use that. If not, I'll just use the big boy. Alright, so I got the wiring done. That's probably way too much wiring, but I can just tuck that down the side of the battery. That wire was already on and I couldn't be bothered shortening it because that's a properly crimped wire. I did have to add this crimp to the earth wire, this terminal. Now I've got a proper crimping tool for this type of terminal. I don't have the proper one for this more heavy duty type, which is why I left that. But what I always do with this type of terminal, just for a bit of extra security, I make sure it's a good strong connection and then I actually melt solder down into the wiring. A, so it's a good connection, which I don't think it's an issue anyway, and B, just so it makes the wiring joining there a lot stronger. Let me know in the comments if you think that's a waste of time, but I always do that just for extra security. Alright, so panel is back in, wired up, battery cover's back on. It's a bloody hot day today, I think it's about 35 degrees or something, so the 250 watt solar panels going mental. I don't know if you can see what's happening there, but we're getting up to 15 volts in there. So that is actually being pumped. So now all that's left to do is plug it in, turn it on. Let's turn it up full. Let's chuck the timer on. I don't know, we'll just chuck it on. So with my amps, meter there. Trying to think how that works. Pretty sure it only shows at night time. So when there's charge going in, unless it's taking out more than it's putting in, I think that's when it shows how many amps is drawing. It's just the way I've got it wired. I can't remember, it's some time since I did that. So as you can see, I don't know if you can see that because of the flash rate, that's actually drawing 0 amps right now, which means in the sun, this thing's currently running off the solar. It's not using the battery at all. So I'm going to shut the door. I'm going to wander off to the kitchen, see if I've got anything to cook, and let's give it its first go and see what happens. Alright, so I've just been inside. We have quite a big family, and that amount of chips ain't going to feed anyone, so that's perfect. I'm going to chuck them in there. Must be approaching lunchtime, so a good old chip butty for lunch will be good. If anyone's wondering, by the way, this tray doesn't come with the Road Chef. I think I paid about $25 extra for that. Well, I'm going to say I don't know if I'll ever use it, but obviously if you're going to cook chips, then it's going to work a treat. I guess you could cook chips direct on the tray, on the grill. What do they call it? This thing? Mesh grill? I don't know. That thing. You probably could chuck... Man, I think I need to go back to bed and reset. You probably could cook chips on that, but we've got the little roasting pan, so why not? So I'll chuck that in. Bear in mind that when you're cooking this, you're meant to have it up to temp before you cook. Basically, I'm not going to wait around for it to get to temp, then chuck the chips in, then cook the chips according to the manufacturer's instructions. I'm going to chuck them in now. I'll make a note of the time. I'll come back periodically and see how it's going. Alright, so we've been going 10 minutes so far. It's not actually very warm, like here, where this seam joins here. I can feel heat there. I'm just wondering if this is very well insulated, and obviously because the door's at this end, the insulation possibly stops there, and I can feel heat. Like the door itself is not that hot. This bit here, right there, is probably the hottest bit right now, but not hot in any way that it's gonna be dangerous. I could sit that on top of the bed. Obviously we'll readdress that. Let me just, don't know if that's pointing in the right direction. Yeah, the underneath's not even hot either. It's basically just this section there. So that's 10 minutes. We'll come back in another 10. Alright, so that's 20 minutes in. Like, it really doesn't get hot. Yeah? I know Mummy's taking a long time. She'll be back soon, buddy. I don't know. I will phone her and find out. Okay? Alright. Ah, kids. Wait. Oh yeah, so this has got marginally hotter there. Again, I can hold my hand on it. It's not hot enough to damage anything. So 20 minutes in. Let's see if I can get that wedged up there. We're going to fall off. So 20 minutes in. Let's open her up and see. See, that's hot, but like I can touch it. They're still cold as. So, yeah, 20 minutes. like I say, maybe I should pull the instructions and see what they say, but most people I've seen using these online normally preheat them for about an hour. So basically that's just 20 minutes in, so that in theory is still in the preheating period. Yeah, so what's that, 20 minutes? Let's come back. Damn. Let's come back after half an hour. So when half an hour from the second I first turned it on, and we'll reassess. Okay, after doing some quick basic maths, I just realised if we come back after half an hour, that's 10 minutes from now, which ain't long enough. Let's come back half an hour from now, which will be 50 minutes all up. So in theory, 50 minutes should be still in the preheating time. I'll read the instructions in the meantime. But the chips hopefully will be defrosted by that stage and start cooking. So I'll come back in half an hour, 50 minutes all up time. So I'll just put the bed back in while we're waiting. So I'll show you. If I ever do need to use this car to daily drive, which I don't, but periodically I'll take it just to give it a run. Still can get 2 passengers. So we got just enough room for the single seat there, and then you can see like the top half of the bed does actually give you plenty of space. So that's a single mattress, so we've got the full width of a single mattress at the top, and then it contours around the seat and down the side of the fridge there. Like I say, if you were over 6 foot tall, might be a bit cramped, but I just push that seat forward, wedge your pillow in there, and that's more than adequate for little me. This is a car I towed around Australia in 2008. If you're interested in that and you're not sure, scroll back and look at my slight detour videos. Spent 12 weeks solo trip round Oz in this beast, in this 27-year-old beast. Alright, I might go crack a beer while we're waiting for that fridge. It's beer o'clock somewhere in the world, so let's do it. Oh, and this is Marley. He always likes to help when we're doing videos, don't you, Marley? Hey, you're a good boy. You're a good boy. A small eternity later. Alright, that's been 50 minutes now. Ooh, that's starting to get hot now. The whole unit's pretty hot now. Oh shit, the back's hot. I can't hold my hand on the back. I can touch it, but I can't hold my hand on the back. Sides are a bit better. Top's about the same. Strangely enough, the bit that got hot first is not as hot as the back of the oven now. Weird. Well, actually that's about to time out soon. But yeah, the back, the very back, that is damn hot. So I'll have to bear that in mind if I put this on in the car while I'm driving. I might look at making some arrangement. In fact, I'm pretty sure this is meant to come with some brackets to hang it, to either mount it into something or hang it from the roof. And I've just realised I don't have them brackets. I've just looked in the box. I was about to say I can possibly hang it from the roof while it's on and travelling. No brackets. I will have to check with the person I bought this from, or check with the manufacturer, but it's actually got two slots, and the same on the other side, so you can mount it on the base or hang it from the top. Pardon me, that beer's gassy. But anyway, that's very hot down the back there. That's 50 minutes. I'm going to pull this out. I don't expect them to be cooked yet, but we'll have a look. I can hear them sizzling away. Still very anemic looking. Hot in the middle, but not cooked. So I'll pop that back in. Let's so if they say it takes an hour to get up to temp, no, I can't really work this out because obviously they would have been defrosting. So that's 50 minutes. Let's come back in another 20. So it's been on an hour and 10. And I'll see if them chips are edible. After an hour and 10, from first turn on, chips frozen. Okay, we'll come back. Alright, I've just found a bag that came with it, which I thought was the Anderson plug, which it is. But if I actually took the time to open it, it's got the mounting brackets in. Okay, so I might look at making some arrangement where I can actually mount this so it's not touching anything, so it's basically suspended from the roof of the car. So there's the brackets, and they go in there, and then you can basically suspend that from above, or you can mount them in the bottom and basically solidly mount it to something. Because I got the fridge and the bed, I can't mount it in this vehicle. If I ever, well, I will, not if I ever, when I eventually get around to kitting out the NX for long distance travel, this will probably have a permanent home in there, I would imagine. I might get some Padge wings on there, side pop up, oven, voila, job done. But yeah, now that I've taken the time to open the packaging, I might now take the time to look at the instructions. I'll come back to you. Oh, wifey's back now. I better behave. Alright, remember the bit earlier when I said I'm a bit of a hoarder? No, not really. Okay, maybe a little bit. Found this in my garage from when I kitted out my pantry. That was leftover from the bench top. So I think we could mount that on there. And then that's not going to transfer any heat through the base. Alright, so I made my board. And then I got carried away doing something on my track bike. So it's been an hour now. From the second I turned it on and put the frozen chips in, it's been an hour. So I'm gonna pop it open. Looks and smells and sounds hot. I'll use my son's best white t-shirt here. Let's put these out. So, still look pretty anemic. They're cooked and they're good. Shit, that's hot. Okay, so an hour, I'd say. That's for chips. I've thrown the packaging away now. I wish I'd have looked. What do you normally cook chips for? 20 minutes? 20 minutes in a fan forced oven. So that's an hour in the Road Chef from frozen from first turn on. So that's not bad. That's a good reference. I'm sure I will mess around with this some more and eventually do a full review on the oven itself. How do we turn it off? There we go. Yeah, it cost me for the oven delivered with the tray. Oh, what Baxter? If it's not you, it's Marley. I'm trying to do a video. So yeah, I think it was like $290 or $280 delivered. So that's not too bad. I mean, if you did have to invest in something like this, which I happen to have laying around, let's just say it's $300 for the base, the oven, the tray. So like I say, in the near future I will do a full review on this. I'll try cooking something a bit fancier. Obviously oven chips aren't the most exotic. I actually owe Rudy, Mr. Bajero, a camp dinner, so let's see if we can impress him the next time we go on camp. And watch this space. Thoughts so far, yeah, good, but I guess we need to cook something a bit more exotic to get a full view of what it's really like. Until next time. Not selling a product. It was more about the install in the vehicle rather than selling the product, because this is not a sponsored video. If Road Chef want to sponsor me, by all means they can, and I'll cook better chips. But everyone knows a good chip butty consists of heaps of butter and heaps of salt.